Welcome back, movie fans, and thank you for clicking on my review for Emily the Criminal, which has garnered critical praise ever since its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival at the beginning of 2022 and has now made its way all over to the London Film Festival. In this one, we follow Emily, who is saddled with student debt and finds herself locked out of the job market due to a minor criminal record. She soon gets involved in a credit card scam that pulls her into the criminal underworld of Los Angeles, ultimately leading to deadly consequences. This is a film that I knew nothing about besides people liked it at Sundance and that it starred Aubrey Plaza, who honestly I've never been the biggest fan of besides her role as April Ludgate.
I think I may have found a project I'd actually enjoy doing. Helping these cats and dogs. They should be rewarded for not being people. I hate people.
To me, she just kept delivering that exact same performance in everything. That deadpan, I don't care about anything or anyone kind of humor that just really got tired for me, and I understand that that is her personality, so I couldn't be happier and more riveted to see her work in this film, which is so compelling. This is a great performance from Aubrey Plaza that feels complex and human, most importantly. Debuting director and screenwriter John Patton Ford does a great job at establishing this character that Dan Plaza grounds through her performance as someone who has been beaten down by the world. She has been rejected time after time, but maintains this hopeful outlook at life, where she won't stop, she will persevere, and it presents this interesting perspective where capitalism really pressures one to go outside their comfort zone when it comes to their morality. It's not to say that this isn't a story of someone who chooses to go down a dark path, but the film is much more interested in exploring how it was an unjust system that essentially forced and pressured this character into becoming marginalized by society, and it maintains this exploration and commentary through gripping, gritty, and enthralling sequences that are just unnerving to watch as Emily finds herself in this world that she's completely unfamiliar with and really has to step outside her sense of morality. She has to become something that she is not just to survive, and there's something really compelling about that. Capitalism has left her with no choice. We see her struggling and trying her hardest to do things the right way, the legal way, but she's always pushed to her limit. She's always forced to go down that path that is so much more appealing, and it feels like it's the only way she can thrive and, most importantly, survive in this world. The film is also constantly careful not to humanize the criminality, but the circumstances that have led Emily and other characters like her down this path. You meet so many characters that the film presents through this very humanizing perspective. Theo Rossi, who brings her into this world, there's a warmth to him that is so unexpected, and even Emily, as she goes further down this path, she presents more of a hopeful outlook on life. The more she survives, the more she can thrive in this world, the more the real Emily comes out, the more the vulnerable humanity within comes out. And that's such an interesting contrast. I will say, however, that it loses a little bit of steam into the second act and onto its ending. I think the ending is spectacular. The destination is wonderful. The journey to get there needed a little bit to trim its edges off. There are moments in this film that are infuriating as Emily just makes the stupidest decisions possible. Even in this world that she's just getting acquainted with, there's just some logical decisions that feel completely irrational for a person such as her. And the further the film goes along, the more invested it becomes in seeing Emily being successful through this new venture over actually showing us getting to that success, struggling even through this world. We see 2, maybe 3 crimes, and there's some complications that elevate the tension, but I wanted more of that through the bulk of the second act, and that completely disappears as the film goes along, and it becomes this more generic tale of this person who's struggling to be herself even though she's compromising herself. So it just never goes as deep as it should or could with a story such as this. My biggest issue with Emily the Criminal essentially boils down to a story that the further it develops, the less I was invested in. But as a character study, as this person who was forced into being marginalized by society only to thrive on that side of the tracks, I was fascinated by this character and what Aubrey Plaza was accomplishing on screen. So this is a very interesting character that is wrapped up in a not so interesting story. Maybe a more veteran director, maybe a more veteran screenwriter could have accomplished something really great. This one has a great starting point, has compelling ideas, but doesn't necessarily bring it across the finish line to memorable results. But before I dive into my final thoughts on Emily the Criminal, I need you to start a conversation in the comments below about it. Did you catch it at Sundance? Did you catch it here at LFF or anywhere in between? Anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying my LFF coverage, there's more reviews right here. If you're enjoying this review specifically, or if you just love movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Emily the Criminal compellingly toes the lines of morality, but the premise and concept constantly feel more interesting than the restrained, generic execution. It's effective, but not quite memorable. I'm giving Emily the Criminal a C+. That's my take on Emily the Criminal, and that's 2 LFF reviews down. I'll be back tomorrow with Causeway and many others to come once the festival officially starts. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for all the LFF coverage, and big thanks to my channel members for always supporting this channel. I'll be back very soon, and until the next one, love each other and love the movies.